Good evening. We are beginning tonight's broadcast with news from the country of Costa Rica. As you may have already heard, dinosaurs have been discovered in Costa Rica. We have a reporter there now to tell us more. Jennifer?
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm actually on a ship near the island Nublar, an island 120 miles off the west coast of Costa Rica, where the company International Genetics Technologies attempted to create a dinosaur theme park called Jurassic Park. As you can see behind me, well, you really can't see anything, since the island was completely destroyed after something went wrong with the dinosaurs they had created. To control the incident, they had to blow up the island. With me here, I have Dr. Alan Grant, a paleontologist who was there during the dinosaur fiasco. Dr. Grant, thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, of course. My pleasure.
Will you tell us how you were involved with this accident?
I was digging for dinosaur remains up in Montana on a reserve, and then I would send the unused dinosaur material to Hammond's company.
And Hammond was the man in charge of this whole project?
Yes, that's correct. As it turns out, they were using the remains of the dinosaurs to extract DNA in order to create the DNA of the ancient animals. They funded us along with many other cold weather digs because DNA had a better chance of being preserved in cold weather.
And how were the dinosaurs made exactly?
Dr. Wu, the doctor working there, used a combination of animals that we have today, such as frogs and birds, and combined them with the DNA of dinosaurs.
And how did they get this DNA?
It was actually quite clever. They bought amber from all around the world. Amber is this resin produced from coniferous trees in this time of the dinosaurs. Anyways, they bought a lot of amber, which is amazing at preserving insects. Among these insects, they knew there had to be some mosquitoes or something that sucked blood of the dinosaurs. And DNA is blood.
Why'd you come to the island then?
Hammond called me and Ellie Sattler, a paleobotanist that did research with me, onto the island to look at the dinosaurs and make sure that they were accurate and to get our opinions on them. When we got there, we were taken on a tour of the park, and that's when I was first introduced to the dinosaurs.
Is that when the attack happened?
Yes, the power went out while we were coming back from the tour because the chief computer programmer, a man named Nedry, turned it off.
He could do that?
Yeah, nobody really expected him to be able to do that. However, he had a secret code that he could put into the program to turn off all the power.
Do we know why he turned off the power?
When the power was off, that meant that there were no security doors inside the buildings, meaning that he could go anywhere he wanted. He was trying to sneak frozen dinosaur embryos off the island, which we assume was for money, and these embryos would be worth a lot. We're talking thousands, maybe even millions.
And what ended up happening to him?
He died because of the Dilophosauruses, dinosaurs that were too dangerous for the park. Of course, the scientists still made them and introduced them to this park. The Dilophosaurus spat into Nedry's eyes with their venom that contained 7 different toxic enzymes, which could blind him. Afterwards, the scavenger dinosaurs, Procompsognathus, got him.
Did you see the attack happen?
No, we were lost at the park during that time.
What happened to you guys?
Basically, when Nedry shut off the power, the land cruisers we were in stopped working. A T-Rex approached us and attacked our car. Hammond's grandkids, Timmy and Lex, were both attacked first. Timmy was the most injured since the car he was in was thrown up 20 feet in the air and came crashing down while he was still in it. I found the kids and took the kids in the morning, and we ended up running through the park in order to try and turn on some of the motion sensors to signal the people back in the main lodge. We were going out of the T-Rex area after climbing a fence and wading through a moat, finally going into a shed. Afterwards, we ended up finding a raft and floating down a river away from the T-Rex. We stumbled upon its Pterodactylus and Dilophosaurus, but the T-Rex showed up in time to scare the latter away while we escaped.
Some good timing there, right?
Yeah. Once we got to the visitor center, I had the kids hide in the cafeteria while I went to help turn on the generator. I went back to find the kids in the lodge. I ended up finding them with the raptors chasing them. What I ended up doing, I lured them into the lab, and then I injected a powerful poison. Only a few molecules would kill the dinosaurs instantly. Anyways, I injected them into the dinosaur eggs. These dinosaur eggs were then eaten by 2 of the raptors, and then I injected the last one with the poison.
Oh my, that is crazy. I am so glad that you and the kids were able to make it off the island alive. Speaking of getting off the island, was there any way to make sure that if the dinosaurs somehow escaped from the island, that they wouldn't harm the people on the mainland? It's a silly question, since dinosaurs are some of the scariest animals to ever walk the planet, but did the scientists do anything to prevent them from escaping?
Well, to ensure that the dinosaurs wouldn't be able to survive even if they did manage to escape from the Jurassic Park, Dr. Henry Wu inserted a gene that made a single enzyme fault in the protein's metabolism. This is called a point mutation. where you change one single letter in the entire genetic poetry and it creates a wrong protein, which messes up things.
What did Dr. Wu's new gene do?
Well, this protein that he had changed made them lysine dependent. Since the gene made a fault enzyme in protein metabolism, the animals could not manufacture the amino acid lysine. They had to get it from Jurassic Park. If they didn't get a lysine tablet from the management, they apparently go into a coma within a certain amount of hours and die.
And, well, did this work?
Well, obviously it didn't. Do you remember those Percompsognathus attacks on the mainland from a while back? Those were actually dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. The creators of Jurassic Park underestimated the time that the animals would survive without lysine, and they didn't factor in the foods on the mainland that were rich in lysine, like agama and soybeans and chicken. Dr. Wu also did not take into account that the dinosaur population could reproduce.
Wait, I thought the dinosaurs weren't able to reproduce? From what I've heard, all of the dinosaurs on the island were female. How could reproduction occur if all of these were female?
Well, there's something that happens in amphibians. You could call it a phenomenon. You see, it happens a lot in West African frogs. It's called a gender transition. It's essentially when an animal changes gender. So a number of plants and animals are able to change their gender. We've seen that frogs lay eggs and in a few months change into complete males. Fighting stance of males develop the mating whistle. They can stimulate the hormones and grow the gonads of males. Eventually, they can successfully mate with females.
That's insane. How exactly does that happen?
This change is apparently caused by an environment where all the animals are the same gender. Some amphibians will spontaneously begin to change from a female to a male. Then these males and females will begin to reproduce, which caused the dinosaur population to keep growing. I was able to see this occur in the raptor population when I went with Ellie and Gennaro to an underground area where there were raptors from the ages of infants to adults. Here we were able to conclude that Jurassic Park was indeed containing reproducing dinosaurs.
Wow, that is crazy. I had no idea that this was going on in the park. All of these things went wrong that no one could ever have imagined.
I actually think that Ian Malcolm said it really well. He was a mathematician that specialized in the chaos theory, which is the idea that small changes in a complex system can change everything, which perfectly describes Jurassic Park. Anyways, he said that the history of evolution was that life escapes all barriers, that it breaks free and expands to new territories. Life will find a way.
I agree, very well said. And now, just one more thing before we wrap things up. We know now that Jurassic Park was an unnatural environment, an unrealistic one. Since the animals were kept in separate areas, they were unable to interact with each other like they would have 100 million years ago. After the fences went down, the animals were able to mingle with each other, allowing them to reach what we call true Jurassic equilibrium. Dr. Grant, do you have anything to add to that?
We could see a pack of raptors hunting a Hydrosaurus, bringing it down within a few minutes with only 6 raptors. A baby T-Rex was biting at a Stegosaurus, although the T-Rex was not able to harm it. The Triceratops were fighting among each other. It was nice to see that a real Jurassic environment with animals interacting like they should.
And I heard that the dinosaurs were made using genetic engineering and modification, which is a fairly new technology. Hammond had apparently funded many dinosaur digs in colder weather, with hopes that DNA could be preserved from them. Dr. Grant here worked at one of those digs. Dr. Wu used the DNA that they pulled from the amber to recreate the dinosaurs. However, they had to replace some of the missing gaps with DNA from other organisms. The geneticists modified the genetic material to make them all female and lysine dependent. What is your opinion on what they were trying to do here?
Honestly, I think that Hammond was trying to play God. He wanted the power and self-satisfaction that would come from Jurassic Park if it was able to succeed. To bring an extinct animal, an amazing animal, wondered and feared by all to life, it was a great idea, no doubt about that. But is it a realistic one? One that would work? Maybe not so much. One could argue that he abused genetic engineering for personal gain, putting others at danger while doing this. And you could tell most of the people were in it for the money. You could charge people thousands a day to see these, and they would still come. These people were not paying attention to the biological factor. If they would have been, then maybe, just maybe, Jurassic Park could have been a success.
Whoa, world, you heard it here first. The mystery behind the dinosaurs in Costa Rica has been solved. Lindsay, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jennifer. In other news, the San Francisco 49ers have recently won against the Cincinnati Bengals in the 23rd Super Bowl in 1989. Hang on.
God, it looks like an octopus is on my hair.
Okay, well, at least you don't look like this.
Okay.
Wait, where's my finger? Oh, okay.
All right.
2, 1. Jen!
Okay. All right.
Wait, where's my mouse?
Okay. I won't be able to. I'm not strong enough. Wait, how are you setting up?